Though primarily known for his poetry, Nigerian writer John Pepper Clark also ventured into playwriting, debuting with Song of a Goat in 1961. This one-act play, along with its sequel Masquerade 1965, intertwines elements of Greek tragedy with Nigerian cultural traditions and morals. Song of a Goat, delivered in dialogue reminiscent of Shakespearean blank verse, tells the story of Zifa, a fisherman and part-time ship pilot in the timeless Niger Delta. Zifa faces a curse of impotence for violating a cultural taboo, leading to tragic outcomes for his entire community. In the opening scene, Zifa sends his wife Ebier to consult Masur, the town doctor and alternative oracle. Despite having one son, Dode, Zifa and Ebier have been unable to conceive another child for years, a situation that signifies ill-being in their community. While both acknowledge Zifa's impotence, his pride prevents him from admitting it. After examining Ebier, Masur confirms her fertility, engaging in a metaphor-rich dialogue typical of the play. When Ebier says, "I keep my house open, but my lord will not come in," Masur infers Zifa's impotence and proposes a ritually sanctioned sexual encounter between Ebier and Zifa's brother, Tony. Ebier, shocked by the suggestion, refuses and leaves. After Ebier exits, Zifa arrives, and Masur confronts him about his condition. Zifa admits the truth but clings to the hope of conceiving another child with Ebier. However, Zifa's impotence is a divine punishment for prematurely burying his father, who died of leprosy, white taint, against traditional customs. Masur advises Zifa to accept the traditional remedy, assigning his conjugal duties to his younger brother through the appropriate ceremonial rites. Zifa, perceiving this as an insult to his manhood, rejects the suggestion, stating that death would be a preferable solution. The second movement opens with Zifa's aunt, Orokorere, crying out about a leopard catching a goat, which she hears bleeding. Zifa's neighbors gather, and functioning like the chorus in a Greek drama, note that they don't hear anything. Orokorere, similar to Cassandra in Aeschylus' tragedies, possesses the gift of prophecy, but nobody believes her. Her powers are a curse brought on by her arrogance. Once beautiful, she spurned all suitors, angering the water deities. Orokorere envisions the leopard as a threat to her family and declares she must find it. Although the neighbors begin to worry, Zifa dismisses his aunt as merely drunk, a common occurrence. Orokorere falls into a trance and begins trembling. Upon recovery, she reports that the leopard escaped, or perhaps it was a snake. The third movement begins with Ebier bathing Dode. Frustrated by her situation with Zifa, her impatience manifests towards her son, and she smacks him on the head when annoyed by his frolicking. Tony witnesses this and scolds Ebier, to which she responds with a hiss. Comparing her to a snake, Tony provokes Ebier to reveal her misery and her husband's inadequacy. Despite Tony's exhortations to be content with her husband and one child, Ebier's sexual desires overcome her, leading her to seduce Tony. Dode, confused by the coupling before him, alerts Orokorere. She leaves them alone, understanding the family's doom, lamenting, "I said there was a serpent in the house, but nobody, as usual, will take me seriously." In the fourth and final movement, Zifa begins to doubt his wife's fidelity upon finding Tony in his bed and hearing Ebier speak admiringly of Tony, whom she had previously disparaged. When Zifa questions Orokorere, she confirms his suspicions and urges restraint, saying that unlike bleeding goats, men should endure suffering in silence. Because Tony and Ebier engaged in sexual activity without the ritual transfer of sexual rights, they have desecrated the house. Zifa orchestrates the sacrifice of a goat to purify his home from corruption, while Ebier and Tony, oblivious to being exposed, contemplate a potential future together. Meanwhile, Orokorere expresses deep reservations about the cleansing ritual, fearing that the shedding of goat's blood will lead to tragedy. Ignoring his aunt's warnings, Zifa proceeds with the goat sacrifice. He decapitates the goat, instructing Tony to thrust its head, complete with horns, into a small pot, an act symbolizing sexual intercourse. The pot shatters, causing Ebier to faint. Enraged by his wife's transgression, Zifa pursues his brother into the house, where Tony takes his own life before Zifa can harm him. Zifa then meets his end by walking into the sea, and Ebier perishes prematurely while giving birth. The origins of the word tragedy remain debated, but it likely stems from the Greek term tragoedia, meaning goat song. The title of Clark's play alludes to the pivotal moment of the goat sacrifice, as well as the themes of death and sexuality embodied by the goat. Moreover, it hints at connections to Greek tragic traditions. Classical tragedy features a hero entangled in conflict with forces beyond his control, whether ordained by fate, the gods, or internal flaws. There's an inevitable sense of doom, foretelling the hero's downfall. Indeed, Zifa grapples with forces surpassing his might and ultimately succumbs. It's not merely his impotence curse, but his hubris, obstructing him from embracing a solution within his people's ceremonial customs that seals his fate. His defiance of cultural norms precipitates his demise. While Clark's play mirrors the structure of Greek tragedy, at its core, echoing the playwright's own words, are the early religious and magical ceremonies intrinsic to Nigerian culture. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.